Hi, Tim Unkert here, and welcome to my channel. Today we're going to make another worksheet using C Sharp. We're going to first create an HTML page and use the browser to help create the PDF. So let's get started with that. I'm using a Chromebook with the beta channel running, and I'm running on Debian 11 on the beta channel is what happens to be installed when you turn on the Linux container. Okay, so I've set up my .NET environment. I've got a folder here. Let's create a new .NET project. So I'm going to say .NET new, and actually let me just boost this up for you so you can see a little bit. So .NET new, and we'll type console, and then the output, and what am I going to call this? Let's see what I call this. Average rate of change. We're going to do a worksheet on average rate of change of polynomials. So to do that, we're going to have a range from, like, let's say one number to another number. Like, let's say we did 1 to 5 x squared. The way we do that, the average rate of change, we'd basically take x squared at 5, so 25, minus x squared at 1, which is 1, so that's 24 over 4 units. So the average rate of change would be 6. Okay, so that's how we're going to, or that's the type of worksheet we're going to create today. And let's get started. So we're going to go ahead and create this project by running that command. And now it's gone through that. You see it's created a folder called average rate of change. I'm going to change into that folder. And then you'll see we have this program.cs file. That's the one we're going to be editing. So let's go and start to edit that. All right, so I'm going to use Vim. So we'll go into that. I'm using just the desert theme that Vim has. So in case you're interested. And all right, so let's create a class and let's call this create problems. And whoops. And then within the class, I'm just going to write public void. This is how I'm going to create my method. Public void write problems. Oops. And then in that, we're going to have a random rand equal a new random. Okay. Hope I keep doing that. And then I'm going to say for interval I equals 0. I is less than 100. I plus plus. Then we're going to have to come up with some coefficients. So the first coefficient that I want to do is going to be just coefficient 1. And that's going to equal the rand next from 1 to 11. That means really 1 to 10 because we go one number less. And I'm going to copy that a couple times. And let's change this to, oops, change this to 2. And change this to lower range, and then change this to upper range. Okay. All right. And I'm also going to have now a while statement because I don't want the lower range and the upper range to be the same. So I'm going to say while lower range is, and I want the lower range to actually be less than the upper range. So while the lower range is greater than the upper range, what I'm going to do is I am going to basically say that the lower range we're going to get another number. So 1, 2, oh, wait, nah, let's do a larger number range, negative 100 to 100. So actually, I want to go up here. I want to change this range to negative 100 to, actually, let's do 101. And let's do it for this one as well. Okay. And then the upper range is going to equal ran.next from negative 100 to 100. All right. So cool. All right. So now let's see. We also want the powers because you could have x cubed, x squared. These are going to be binomials, by the way. So it's going to be more like x cubed plus 5x or something like that. So we have to create some powers. So power 1 is going to be ran.next. And I just want between 1 and 3. So I'm going to go 1 to 4 here. And let's do power 2 ran.next 1 to 4. Okay. We're also going to have to have a while loop because I don't want these to be the same. So I'm going to say while power 1 equals power 2. While power 1 equals power 2, we're going to just recalculate them. So power 1 equals ran.next 1 to 4. Oops. And power 2 equals ran.next 1 to 4. All right. So now, one thing I want to do is keep these lines. I want to keep these lines, not longer than 80 lines. So I turned on this my 80 line setting here, and so now I'm going to start to break up the lines a little bit. So I'm going to say double and then upper start. So we're going to calculate. This is going to help us to calculate the solution. So double upper start equals coefficient 1 times, then we're going to use math.pow, upper range as our base, and power 1. Okay. See, we're getting close to that 80 lines. Not that it's the end of the world if we go over that. Double upper end. So this is going to be coefficient 2 times math.pow. So we're taking the upper range. So this is the end of the binomial, if we want to think of it that way. Raised to power 2 here. Okay. And then we'll have double lower start. That's going to equal coefficient 1 times math.pow. And then we're going to have the lower range and power 1. Okay. And then we're going to have double lower end equals coefficient 2 times math.pow. And then we'll have the lower range raised to power 2. Okay. And then the upper value is going to be the upper start and the upper end added together. So we're going to say double upper value equals upper start plus upper end. And then the lower value is going to be lower start plus lower end. Okay. And then the solution, so we're going to call this double solution, is going to equal the actual upper value minus the lower value. And then we have to divide that by the upper range minus the lower, and you notice we're going to go over here, but that's the way it is, range. Okay. All right. And all right, so now we're going to start with some strings. We're going to have some strings for the problem number and then the problem. And the string for the problem I'm going to break apart so it's not a super long line. All right, so let's start. So the string for the problem number, you can think of this as like a template literal in JavaScript. We're going to have the $ in front, meaning we want to pass in some variables. We're writing this to HTML, so I'm going to do an H3 and then the problem, and then I plus 1 here. And then let's close the H3. And that should be that for the problem number string. That's not that long, but the problem one is going to be longer. All right, so we're going to say problem, string problem, and this one we're going to have to break apart. This first one I'm going to put a $ in front because I am going to pass in a variable. So actually, no, I don't need that. So I'm just going to say consider the function, and then we'll have f of x, and we'll say equals, and then because we're going to concatenate this, we want to have a plus here, okay? And then we'll go down and we'll have a string here, and in this case, we do want to pass in a variable. So I'm going to pass in coefficient 1, and then x, and then we're going to superscript that because we're raising it to a power, and we're raising it to the power 1, okay? And let's close our superscript, okay? And then we'll have plus, and then coefficient 2, okay? And this one might go a little bit longer. So x, and then we're going to raise coefficient 2 to power 2. Okay, and space, and concatenate that. All right, and then we're going to have a $ here. And actually, we can just backspace that a little bit. Backspace that. Then we'll have, let's see, plus, and then we have the space, and then we say over the range, and then we have to pass in, our range values. So we're going to have the lower range, comma, pass in the upper range, and close that out, and then say what, concatenate on here, and then say is the average rate of change over this interval. So we didn't have to put a $ in front of the last one. We do now have to put a semicolon at the end. And we also want to close off our paragraph. The reason we put the semicolon at the end is because this is the end of the long concatenated string. And we didn't put the $ in front because we didn't pass any variables in. All right, so now we're going to have a string, another string, which is just the average rate of change. This is basically our solution. This is going to equal, now we're going to pass some variables in. We'll start with just a paragraph and then say solution, And then we're going to pass in the solution variable that we calculated above, and close out the paragraph. And now what we're going to do is we are going to write to two files. So I'm going to say using StreamWriter, and we'll say WA equals file.append text. And then this one's going to be a long line, but it is what it is. Average rate of change sol.html. Okay. And we're going to actually, let me do the other one first. I was jumping ahead of myself. So let's say using, again, StreamWriter, W equals file.append text, and then we'll pass in just the average rate of change.html file there. We're going to write to our regular HTML file. This will become the actual worksheet, and then we'll write the solutions on the other one that's going to become the other PDF. So we're going to pass in the problem number, and then we're also going to pass in the problem. All right, so we're going to go down here. Here we're going to also pass in the problem number, and we're also going to then pass in the average rate of change. Okay. That's going to be our solution, and we should be good there. And all right, so let's go down here. We want to get rid of this. All right, and then we want to create a new variable, which is a new. So we're going to create a new object. So new create problems. So in case you're wondering, I have been messing with my vimRC. I'm not sure I like it this particular way. I may be modifying it. So, and then we're going to call on that new object the method, write problems. This is a lot like what we were doing in Python, just a little, C# specific syntax, but same kind of object-oriented type programming. Now, you could probably make this class a lot better, maybe split it apart, do a bunch of different methods for better organization. But anyways, so I'm going to quit out of here, and then I'm going to run .NET build, and hopefully I won't get any errors. But if we do, we'll fix them. It's still early in the morning, and I haven't had any coffee, although it's been sitting by me. So, oh boy. All right, so we got some errors. Okay. So, whoops, I closed that out. Let me open that up again. Didn't mean to exit out of that. All right, so I'm going to CD into my CS projects, and then CD into the average rate of change, and then I'll open my program. And I also have to say using system.io, and then using system.threading.tasks. And I leave these errors in because it's helpful to you. That's why I do it. Let me check my notes here. I think that's all we needed to add. All right, and then let's run that again. .NET build. Hopefully we won't get as many errors. Might get a few because I probably forgot a semicolon somewhere or something. But it wasn't recognizing. Okay, so I got one error. All right. The name upper value does not exist in the current context, so line 37. So, all right. Oops. So let's go to 37. Yep, I spelled it. It's case sensitive, so yeah. Okay. Now let's run .NET build again. Hopefully I won't get any errors this time. Zero warning, zero errors. Very good. All right, let's run .NET run now, and that's going to create the files. Oh, good. All right. All right, so we've got the files there. Let's go take a look at the average rate of change. .html. All right, so we see we've got this nice HTML file created. If we go to the bottom, we see we have 100 problems. Go back to the top, starts at 1. Let's put a little styling in here and format it. So I'm going to insert, and then I'm going to actually, let's declare a doc type. It's good practice. Doesn't really need it for what we're doing here, but obviously if you're building a website on the actual web, we're just using this HTML page to actually create a PDF. But we're going to start with an HTML, and we'll have the head of the document, and then we'll close out the head. And yeah, this vimrc is, I want this to, okay. Anyways, so within here, all I'm going to put is style. You'd want to put meta tags if you were actually putting this on the web. So I'm going to have a opening and closing style tag. And then within here, what we're going to do is we are going to have a few different styles. So I'm going to say body, and then within the body, what I want to have is a max width of, let's say, 800 pixels, margin left of auto, and a margin right of auto. That's just going to center it. And then I want to add some padding around the H3s and the paragraph. So for the H3, I'm just going to add some general padding of 20 pixels. And for the paragraph, I'm going to add a little less padding of 15 pixels. Okay. Since we opened the HTML tag and the head tag, let's have a body tag here. Okay, and let's then go to the end of the document, go past this line here. Let's close out our body tag, and let's also close out our HTML tag. Let's keep that consistent. Okay, and I'm going to go to the end of this line here, hit V for visual mode, GG to get to the top, and then hit equals, and it's going to indent it so it formats it decently. Okay, so the formatting's good. I have indentation of 4 spaces. It's indenting properly, and it's kind of formatting it so it looks like an actual formatted HTML document. Now what I'm going to do is I am going to, what am I going to do? I am going to now open this file. Let's take a look in the browser. That's what I'm going to do. Again, not enough caffeine. All right, so we're opening it up. Okay, so we got, consider the function. We've got this function here over the range. This range, what is the average rate of change over this interval? Probably want to word it, what is the average rate of change of this function over this interval? But yeah, it's pretty good. Maybe I'll modify that before I put it on Teacher Pay Teachers. A few other things I just want to add to this document to spiff it up a little bit. Right here at the top, we can just let's do a paragraph, and we'll have them enter the name, and we'll close the paragraph, and then have the date, and we'll keep that same length. Okay, and then we'll go down to the bottom here, and we'll have another paragraph, and this one will have a style of text align center, and I'll say something like copyright, copy 2021, Timothy Unkert, all rights reserved, and all right, and then we'll save that and do a refresh here. We see you have the name and the date show up. We go to the bottom, we have the copyright, looks good. Okay, so that's that one. And all right, let's do Vim average rate of change. The solution, let's just take a look at that one. And okay, so the solution is 441. Let's see what let's just take a look at the other file here, make sure average rate of change in HTML. Let's take a look. All right, so we got this. We got 5 times negative 14 squared. Actually, let's do 5 times 27 squared. We just want to do the upper value. Plus 8 times x cubed. So 8 times 27 cubed. And then we're going to minus 5 times negative 14 squared plus 8 times negative 14 cubed. Okay, and so we get 138,000. So, and okay, and we want to divide that by the difference, which is going to be 41 between positive 27 and negative 14. So divided by 41, we get 3370.1. What do we get for our solution here? I don't know if we got that. Yeah. Huh. No, that was the solution. That was that one. So we didn't get that quite get that answer. So I'll have to check into that. Let's take a look at our logic. Okay, so the upper start and the upper end. Let me check my calculations first too. Did I do everything right here? Oh, no, I didn't. Hold on one sec. So I've got to subtract all of this off here. So we get the right answer. So the logic is correct. Okay. All right. So yeah. So I had to, because I just was subtracting this first part, but when you're subtracting and it's a positive here, you're actually subtracting the second part. So, all right. So the average rate of change is correct. Looks good. All right. So I'm going to do the same thing with the solutions as I did with the regular worksheet. So if I go to the top, well, this is the program, but if I went the top here, I would create a head of the document, put those styles in the same styles, and then put the name. Well, I wouldn't put a name and a date because the solution is only for the teacher. I go down to the bottom, put the copyright information, just because I want to protect my work. And then I'm going to post this worksheet on Teacher Pay Teachers. I hope you enjoyed this video, and I left the mistakes in on purpose. It's just that, actually I left them in because I didn't want to edit them out. But anyways, if you like this video, please like, subscribe, and hit the bell for notifications. It really helps the channel grow. And you can follow me on GitHub. The source code for this will be freely available on GitHub. So if you want to mess with it and change it to your own needs, you could go into the program file and change the numbers that could go into the range, that kind of thing. Change the powers. That's freely available on GitHub. The Teacher Pay Teacher worksheet I'll put up for $1. If you feel like supporting the channel in that way, that'd be great. Otherwise, just watching the video is great. And I thank you, and I hope to see you in the next one. Thanks for watching.